How was it working with Mora Stephens?
Oh, she's phenomenal. You know, I always love to champion smart, confident, you know, really talented women, and she is just that. And I knew it from the moment that I, you know, Skyped with her. But it's just I'm just so proud of her, and yeah, I love her take on things.
Right, women supporting women, right?
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be some crazy feminist thing.
Not at all.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Well, cool. As a woman in the industry,
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Thanks.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Take care.
I was running. I was on the run.
I know. She was scary, wasn't she? I would have ran too. That's why I'm here now.
Hi.
So please tell us about your character. Keep it light.
I'm the most familiar character in the movie. I'm a campaign manager who persuades him to run for office. That's about sums it up.
Okay, cool. And how do you feel like you relate to it, or do you?
How do I what?
How do you relate to your character, or do you?
Well, I'm political, so I'm interested in politics. And I'm also short, and the character was short.
Okay. Those are two very good observations, two easily relatable
I've been turning down
observations.
tall characters for years.
This is your first Sundance, or have you been?
No, how many Sundances have you been to?
This is my first Sundance. I feel like breaking into a jig.
Stop
My
it.
first Sundance.
It is?
Yeah.
Was that an Irish jig?
Yeah.
Or was that a short person jig?
That was a short person's
Yay!
Irish jig.
That's my favorite
Very
kind.
good.
Were they hand selected by you, or was it a process?
It was a process, but yes, hand-selected, and a great collaboration with my co-producer and casting director, Deb Aquila, and all of the producers it was a team effort.
Awesome. Is there a character in there at all that you relate to, or did they just kind of come out of the woodwork for you?
Well, I mean, as a director, I try to approach each character as if it were me, or, you know, I try to approach it with empathy, so from all of the characters.
So can you tell us just a really quick little 30-second synopsis of the film before we go and view it?
Zipper is about Patrick Wilson plays a federal prosecutor who's about to run for higher office, and he becomes addicted to high-end escorts. And it's really about the issue of political sex scandals and the question of why we put these guys on a pedestal if we're going to drag them down, but also the flip side of that of why do they do it when the stakes are so high.
What interested you in the script?
I co-wrote it with my husband,
Right.
And it grew out of an interest in the political sex scandals and that very, very perennial issue.
Anyone in particular?
Well, it started with, you know, Clinton and sort of wondering why our country became so paralyzed under a very personal crisis, and then the kind of Spitzer-Edwards, but not so much the scandals themselves, but how people were talking about it, and
Right.
how men and women viewed it differently, and how everyone had an opinion about this issue, and so. But the movie is entirely fictional and looking at like a kind of origin story of how did it all begin? How did somebody start down that road?
How was it working with Mora Stephens?
It was great. I mean, I think to have this kind of story told with it from a female perspective was important, actually. So, yeah.
So what do you feel like you brought to the character? How did you relate to it? I know it's a very touchy subject.
It's good use of the word touchy subject, by the way.
Double entendre?
I don't know if it's double. I think it's pretty single right there. No, you know, it was one of those guys that you read and you're equally fascinated and scared to play, and that's usually when I decide to do something.
Right. Challenge accepted, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for your time.